We're back.
We're back, and we are the Root and Rhythm podcast, in case you don't know, and our slogan is
where we are exploring the roots that ground us and the rhythms that make us move.
Oh, that's good. He likes to mix it up.
You looked at me.
I did.
You looked at me.
Okay.
See that? No, that's good. We looked. Yeah.
All right. Context. I'm having a real struggle looking into the little camera dot button when I'm talking. I'm looking at it right now, and I feel very uncomfortable because I can't really see. Like, I'm used to talking to my own face on TikTok, which is vertical, and talking on camera with somebody. I want to look at him, and that's helpful. But half the time he's talking, I'm looking in this.
Direction.
I'm looking at him because I'm looking at him like a mirror. But I'm supposed to be looking because when he looks in the camera, he's staring into my soul. When I play it back, but I look like a doofus because I'm looking over here and I'm looking over there. So please forgive me because I, again,
First of all,
don't know what I'm doing.
Can this face ever look like a doofus?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I have photographic evidence. My children certainly do.
Wow. Yeah. All right. Another episode, folks. We are jumping into some. Look at you looking at the map.
I'm looking at it. I'm just staring at it.
Now the whole episode, I'm be like, yeah. All right.
Today. If it gets weird, y'all tell me. Like, because I know my eyes are like not the same shape, so sometimes they'll like a little bit like just let me know. I'm good with feedback. You can hurt my feelings, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
This is episode 6.
Yeah.
Wow. So we've done this. This is our 6th time.
Is this
doing
6?
This. Wow.
I think it's 6.
Time flies when you're hanging out with friends, right?
There you go.
What are we talking about today?
Today we're going to talk about things that are weird as you get into middle age that like we feel like the previous generations did not warn us about. Because middle age in 2025 is very different than middle age was in when our
1970s.
Yeah, in the 70s and 80s when our parents were this age. Right?
Oh God,
yeah. Yeah, like it's a whole different world. They didn't have any of this. So I'm firstly going to point out because that you're a man, so you don't even know the struggle.
You're
I'm just
right.
saying.
I am a man.
It's a whole.
You looked at me and said, "You're a man." Well, thank you for affirming. I felt seen.
Did you feel affirmed? Did you feel masculine? Okay.
All right. So you were saying you're a woman. I'm a man.
All I'm saying is like menopause is a whole thing. The generation before us really didn't tell us anything, mainly because they didn't know and because they weren't given any sort of verification, validation by the medical community, which is just now in 2025 starting to address menopausal malfunction. And while men have certain other biological issues, they are a lot less troubling.
We have menopause. There is something called menopause, and she doesn't.
My eyes are rolling right to the back of my head.
Menopause is real. We get low testosterone. We get a little.
So do we. We're going to fight this whole time because I'm very about this subject.
Our libido begins to, subside a little bit.
Again, we're fine with that. Don't even care.
A lot of brain fog.
Oh yeah, we get that.
Brain fog. Sweats.
You do not get sweats. Do y'all get sweats too?
I sweat like a dog at night.
Really?
Oh my! I change a shirt almost every day.
I have never had a man say that, other than unless they were, like having something weird, disease-wise with them.
Glandular.
You should be checked. No, I'm just kidding.
I really should be checked out.
Honestly, we're like, what's wrong with me?
Of things, but I think it's deep because the generation before us, it felt like they weren't really open about a lot of things.
I don't think they complained. Like, I think there's that, and it's because I know boomers actually bitch a lot, but like in terms of the physical manifestations of getting older, like the creaky knees and you wake up with your back all out of whack because you
slept wrong,
sneezed or something, like all of that stuff. Like that's people talk about that. People of all like that hits you starting at like 40. You hear people talk about it, but I don't have any memory of any of the older women in my childhood talking about, certainly not openly, about the change. That's what they called it.
Yeah, the change.
When you're in the South, the change, because we have to have euphemisms so we don't make men uncomfortable. But like they would literally just talk about it and just kind of be like, no, like it's the way it is. And then they were just sort of like, well, I'm old now. And I'm like, okay, but I'm 55, and I don't feel old. My knees do. My knees feel very old. But like in general, I don't feel decrepit.
No, and you're super
Super is good.
yeah, you're super you're always vibrant, you're always on the go. You and your hubby travel a lot.
Hmm.
So you don't act like an old person.
I don't know what, yeah, because like what is an old person? I don't know. Like whatever you grew up with. But like okay, so you're saying men have some of this too.
Mhm.
And I mean the thing is all we ever hear about is the ED because that's what they have appeal for. Because it's on every football game,
It is.
every
It is.
sports, anything on TV.
And
Not that
through
I
a lot of
watch those.
politics. If you're
Oh.
watching the news, there's a lot of
Fox
people that
News
watch
has a
the
lot
news.
of Fox News has a lot about catheters and ED drugs. Like they're into it. Let me tell
Yeah,
you, they know who their target market is. Sadly. So I'm just saying that's advertising for you.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, I think that we do focus a lot on the ED, right? But there's a lot of other stuff that starts happening. But there are also some emotional things.
Okay, so I would like to hear more about that because
Okay.
that is not something that gets discussed really at all.
So for me, when I turned 40-ish, I started evaluating, right?
Okay.
I started looking back and I started getting this angst because I felt like I wasn't where I should have been. And I know everybody has that to some degree.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I think that's really
I think
common.
especially for men, it's 40 to 55 are unique times for us because our brain is changing.
Yeah.
Our brain is changing. We're looking back more than we're looking forward sometimes. And we start,
Okay.
if you're a conscious person, you're thinking about legacy. You're thinking about retirement. You're thinking about what you want to do in the next stage of your life, right?
Okay.
And if you're not careful, that time will really hit you with some depression. I worked in that field, so
Yeah.
I deal with a lot of men who are over 50 who are going through an identity crisis.
Oh,
and I'm not talking about buying a red Corvette with a drop
which
top.
is so stereotyped.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking about real, like, who am I?
Yep.
What is my purpose?
Yep.
Okay, and I think that's common in the middle years of all of the genders, if you will. Just because it's an age thing, because you do hit that life of like, well, I'm halfway. Like you get 40 to 50, and you're like, well, I'm halfway done.
Yeah. Hopefully.
One hopes. And so then you're going like, did I accomplish the things I should have? Did I even have the right goals? Because I know for me, when I hit 40, what I really realized was the life I was living was completely inauthentic to the life I actually wanted. But it was the life I had been told that I should want.
Don't go there.
You know I did.
Ooh,
We've had this conversation.
That is ugly.
And it was horrible because it puts you in the position of like, do I burn my whole fucking life down to start over? And in my case, I did. I don't know that. I'm not saying that was even the right choice. I'm saying that's the choice I made at that age, and it worked out fine. I think worked out okay. But I can also see people getting to my age and going, "It didn't work out at all. I made a mistake." I think that can be true too. Like both can be true for different people, different situations.
It's unique. I think it's unique to men because our mindset is more provider oriented.
Is it though?
Is it though?
We could have a whole show about provide and protect. We might have to do that next. I got thoughts on that this weekend.
Okay. But as I grew up, I started thinking about what, because I had friends, I had people in my life who had amassed things, and I felt like I was way behind. And
like the checkbook, the check marks of like success.
Yeah. Okay. Did you got $200K in the bank? Click.
Picket fence, 2.5 kids, white fence. Oh, sorry, white dog. I was going to say white fence, but I meant a dog.
I thought she was talking about white. No,
white people. Do you have white people in your life? Okay,
you got to have a mix. But anyway, that's a whole episode.
We could do a whole. See, this is how it happens. We start talking,
you start brainstorming, and you get to witness it. Yeah. But I think when you start checking those boxes and you hit it like at 35, 40, you start wondering, is this even what I want?
This is what everybody told, the world said, the culture said I should want.
The thing said go to college. The thing said get in debt. The thing says get a house, get a 30-year mortgage, and da-da-da.
Which you should, by the way. I'm just saying.
Real estate, right?
I'm just saying.
But and what happens is if we're not careful, I feel like in our 40s and 50s, we start living the expectations and not the authenticity.
Oh, okay.
But I like what you said though, that what was that burning your life down? What does that look like?
For me?
Yeah, because we were friends then.
Yes, but I also kept a lot of this very quiet. I was already very, again, because like we had said before, early and I met networking. So we were both heavily public at the time, I think, online and offline, in terms of our lives were lived very out loud. And I was having massive financial trauma, which I didn't feel it at that time comfortable letting people know about.
Right.
Because we're going to do an episode on hustle culture and the whole fake it till you make it mindset. And that was part of it. So that's going to fold into that story too. But for me, it was looking back and going, I'm in a marriage that limits me. I have these 2 children I still have responsibility to. But I also, at some point, don't I get to deserve something for me? And at that time, something for me meant career growth. It meant personal growth. It meant, to some extent, letting go of the limitations of who I was or who I had been up until that point, the responsible one. This is around all the same time when I stopped communicating with my adoptive parents, cut those ties. So a lot of it for me was about letting go of this thing that had been put on me as a young woman of, you're the responsible one, you're the strong one, you're the problem solver. And because that's what I do for a living now, which is ironic, but it's my choice to do it now, and I get paid to do so. When it's thrust upon you when you're 7, and that becomes your identity of like who you have to be, inevitably when stuff like that's happened, you get to midlife or so, and you're going to be like, this is not actually what I want.
You know, me and my wife, Sharice, hey Sharice, we were talking about that whole concept of kids being told that they're mature. You're an old soul.
It means you're fucking compliant, is what it means.
And you're navigating trauma because a child does not need to be mature.
Why do you want them to be?
You shouldn't be taking care of your 3 siblings that are younger than you. Right? Yeah. Because it forces us into adulthood prematurely.
Parentified children is a whole thing. Our whole generation really has a lot of that.
Yeah.
Gen X has a lot of parentified children.
Yep. But it starts young then. So we get this mindset, and then people start telling us what we should be. Oh, you're so smart. You're going to be an engineer. Oh my God, you are so beautiful. You're going to be a model.
Or whatever.
That's what they told me.
Or in my case, well, you're not very good at algebra. You probably can't be a scientist.
You weren't good at algebra?
I'm still not good at algebra. I was not taught well. I had a learning disability with numbers, and nobody knew that back then because, girls just aren't good at math. It was the 70s.
Thank God for STEM research and all that stuff.
Oh, right? We love our science girlies. We love them.
Geekettes. She used to run a nonprofit called the Geekettes.
Yeah, and that was not strictly, but it was largely to promote technical and scientific learning within women and in those careers. So that's drawn close to my heart because I feel like that's like, and I think I've said this to you before, like I was supposed to be living near the Very Large Array and listening for radio waves from aliens to communicate with us from outer space. That was supposed to be what I did with my life. That was what I wanted. And then I didn't. So no regrets. My life is fine. I'm just saying career-wise, that kind of sucked. So we do put a lot on our kids. Like, and I did it. I'm sure I did it with mine. I'm sure you did it with yours. It's almost impossible to not.
Until we got to break that cycle. But yeah, I did a lot of it. Yeah, I was like, you're the big sister. Come on. Watch out for your brother. And yeah, to a sense, siblings should be, looking out for each other.
Yeah.
To a sense. But to be made to do it, like you said, it was thrust upon you. That's terrible.
Yeah, I think parents abdicate their responsibilities to their younger children, and they just, because it's hard. Because to be fair, we don't have a village anymore, and parenting is really hard.
On its own.
Just all by itself. Parenting is hard because have you met people? Their children are people too. They're awful sometimes. And
the jerk you work with, they have a mom and dad.
Their mom and dad thought they were really great. They're super handsome too. That's my favorite thing. It's like, that's my favorite like snarky thing on the internet is like to see a woman post under a guy's message and she's like, I bet your mom told you were handsome. Sick bird. It's my favorite. It's my favorite. I'm just saving it for someone who annoys me. I'm saving it up.
I gotta use that one. Your mama told you was pretty, didn't she? She should have told you was ugly.
No, you just leave it out there. Just don't even say. Just your mama told you were pretty, huh?
Interesting.
And then go about your day, leaving wreckage in your wake.
And of course, if you say that to a emotionally fragile man, and our hubris stands up, and we just start going out, that's a whole nother. We
do a whole day about that.
Yeah, but in our 50s now,
this is what happens. Circle back.
In our 50s, I think it's wild that, for me, I feel like this is my second and third act, and I know you can feel. What do you think about that?
No, I think that's valid. I think you have to have some introspection to get there. I do think there's a certain subset of people who are afraid of introspection, or have never been taught that it's important, or who just don't want to do that intellectual and emotional labor in their own brain.
Right.
I mean, this is where therapy does come into play for a lot of folks. A lot of folks will go, I'm not happy. I don't know why. Everything in my life is what it was supposed to be. Why do I feel unfulfilled? Why do I feel so tired? Why do I, all those things. And then you're looking for a reason why, right? And so a lot of times this is when women and men both will start attempting therapy, because they're trying to figure out, what do I even want? And is this it? And if it's not it, and I'm not saying because this is also, okay, this midlife thing is also the era of infidelity.
I was going to say that, because.
And I'm not saying that's healthy. It's not. I'm just saying.
But between 40 and 50, when our perspective of ourselves shift and we're trying to figure out who we are, the easier thing to do, especially for a man, is just to get a distraction.
Yep.
And guys, let me tell you, that girl that works in the office with you, she's enamored by you only because you're married.
But she's only met that version of you.
Yeah. She hasn't picked up your socks. She hasn't cleaned out the tub. So I think, especially for men, because we're so so much of us is invested in what manhood should look like.
Yes.
Right. And that's a whole nother episode, because how we portray manhood for young boys as they grow up is vitally important.
Yes.
But yeah. And so you have that insecurity, your body's changing, which is ironic. So whenever a man's body changes, it's interesting. So puberty, and then 50s.
Yeah.
Things go wild. But I think, like you said, we're in the age of infidelity, and it's just easier to just scrap one thing and go on to the next thing.
I think for a lot of people, well, it's a distraction. I think those illicit affairs can often be a distraction from whatever pain or discomfort you're in emotionally, because there's a whole lot of dudes who I know did that route instead of going to therapy, because literally blowing up their families with an affair because who doesn't get caught these days? Social media, cameras, it's just so easy. It's so easy. It's ridiculous. But if you get caught, then your life is not in a fun way, and you've damaged people. You've damaged your wife, who you probably do still care about, and your children. And I'm not saying women don't do this too. They do.
Yeah.
Just as easy to get caught. I'm not saying women don't. I'm not remotely saying that. But for whatever reason, in their head, it's easier to do that than to go I should go talk to a specialist in this midlife weird shit. And that is crazy, because therapy is just, it's so helpful. If you have to find the right therapist, caveats to that. But overall, wouldn't you rather, if you're going to blow up your life, or in my case, burn it the hell down, wouldn't you rather do it from a healthy place, knowing why you're doing what you're doing? Yeah.
But I think a lot of it too, it has to do with that being patient, like you said, going to therapy, that introspection. And I had a client, he was a client for some other things, but we were talking because he was going through some marital things. And he said, yeah, I cheated, and my wife doesn't understand. I have to go on with my life. And when he settled, got out of that marriage, got into the relationship, it didn't last 6 months.
Of course not.
So now he's in a brand new condo.
By himself.
They're
probably not equipped to be so.
Nope. His kids don't like him.
Cliche story.
Because it's in those, when you get older, you start grasping for things, because who am I? And you said something good, that at certain ages, we realize I'm not who they said I was.
Right. So, but you got to figure out who that is, though. And a lot of us, again, when you're in that age group, when you're in the time of your life where you're growing your career, you're having children and growing people, like you don't have a lot of time to think about yourself in terms of that, in terms of real introspection and real being able to go like, is this what I wanted? What can I do? What would I like to do different? Do I have a vision?
And if we keep it 100, our age group, we weren't talking about that 20 years ago. It was just like, if 20 years ago, if you said you had a therapist, we'd say you were cuckoo.
Or at least you'd be like, oh, all right.
Yeah, it wasn't widely
accepted.
Or
I will say that's one thing the millennials brought. They're like, yeah, I went to therapy. Guess what they said? I love that attitude. I'm like, yes. Tell me what your therapist said. I want to know. Yes. I want to know what your therapist told you.
Behind the curtain, but we're in now. We're in now.
Like that's one of my I love that generation brought us that
openness,
and I'm grateful for that on every level, because when my children, both of them at different times in their lives, needed it, I could go, okay, we're going to get you this with this, and let me know how the therapist goes. And obviously it's confidential, but you tell me if it's working for you. Do you feel better? One of my kids had a depressive episode, and that was incredibly helpful for them. I've certainly gone in and out throughout my adult life. Sometimes you just need it to manage a crisis because you're not quite sure what to do.
Right.
So, yay therapy.
Yay.
We're fans. And you work in that space a lot, that improving mental health space. So, I, of course, am an unlicensed therapist to all of my clients. It's so fun.
If you have a realtor that's worth their weight, they're your therapist too.
Often.
Yeah. Because you're going through a lot.
It's a very emotional thing. But I do think professional counseling can be really helpful.
Yeah.
In all these transitional phases of life. But I think it's interesting though, because I will say I'm very female centric, and menopause has thrown my ass for such a loop in the last few years that I've focused on it very heavily. If you're following me on TikTok, you've already seen multiple thousands of videos of me just bitching in general about doctors and hormones, and they don't care about us, and they don't care if we have pain, and the whole thing. Because I have a whole thing about that. But I do think there's something to be said for dealing with men as they're aging in that same timeline. Because my husband's only 2.5 years or so older than me. And he's gotten more verbal in the last few years, talking about this just used to be so hard. Just things that just used to be are just not focused. The fog, the brain fog that I think
it's real.
The middle-aged brain fog is so real. Your brain just literally goes, it stutters or something.
Why did I come in the kitchen?
Why am I here?
What was I doing?
Yeah.
You got to go back and sit back down and think. And you go, butter. I was going in there to get butter.
The times I have looked for my cell phone while it's on I'm holding it. So many times. I've looked for my glasses. They're on my head.
I've done that. Yes.
And it's so, we all joke about it, but it's it's indicative of the fact that your brain is going
we've been doing this for 50 years. The transmission is starting to slip a little bit, right?
That's literally what it is. Your go gear goes, and you're like, what?
Wow.
For a good 30 seconds, you're like, or you're reading a book and you do not know what you read.
I'm like, okay, I read this whole page and
I didn't.
No comprehension at all.
None. Or you're driving somewhere and you don't know how you got there because you're like, I zoned out for an entire 20 minutes. Terrifying. That explains a lot of the drivers on 264 or 95.
Just saying, yeah.
So,
and I think you give a lot of insight, especially on your TikTok, to women about that.
I do.
What's some of the kind of feedback you get from that? Because you got an excellent following, and I watch your menopause videos too.
Yeah.
Yes. I like the ones where you're doing your hair.
Because I can't talk and it saves my time.
She's like, so here's what I don't like today.
Yeah. There's a lot like that. I bitch a lot. That's what it comes down to. I know my husband's like, well, the funny thing is my husband does not watch my TikToks. I let him see them, but he does not care. He doesn't follow them. He doesn't care. He's not socially whatever. And he's forever walking up to people who have watched them, and they'll make a reference, and he's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Just so y'all know, if you know him out, and if you see my husband out in the wild, he has no idea what's going on online.
He didn't know the name of the podcast.
Yeah, I don't know that he still knows. He just found it on YouTube. He was like, oh, there it is.
You guys have a podcast.
Oh, God, yeah. So
Love you, Scott.
just saying.
But he's an educator, so his mind is elsewhere.
He's
So
got
we'll give
and
him
he's got
that.
the brain fog too, to be fair.
Yeah, he's in his 50s,
Yeah.
so we're going to be gracious.
But I get good feedback. Again, I'm talking mostly to women. My demo on TikTok at least is largely women. Largely. And so we talk about those things a lot. What I get more from women is more their reactions to their husbands reacting to them and their menopause struggle. Because very often the husbands are not very supportive. Sometimes they are. Sometimes they're great. Like my husband's great. Like he's great. But I know friends with husbands who are not, and they just can't understand that this is a medical pathology of like, this is evolution basically telling us, hey,
things are changing.
You're not going to make babies anymore, but you could still, because we don't live in a plague-ridden Black Death medieval world anymore, you get to live maybe to be 90 or something. And so what do you do now that you're the body that you're designed for, evolutionarily speaking, no longer does that function? We're done with that. Then like filling in, like how do you fill that in from a physical standpoint, from a intellectual standpoint? Very often husbands who are dealing with their own struggles, I think, and not talking about them. I think a lot of times men are not talking about it, not with their spouse, it's not with anybody. They're not saying like,
we're getting better.
I agree. We're
getting better.
Thank God.
But there's still this man code, I call
stigma.
it.
It's a stigma.
Where and I think it starts when your parents said, come on, you're a tough boy.
Man up.
Come on, don't cry. So
I hate being told, like,
again, a whole nother episode because some of the things that we were trained in it got ingrained, and now we're spending 40s and 50s deconstructing that crap.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that's very true. So I like the fact that men are starting to explore their own stuff and at least talk about it with each other. I think more men should talk to other men about this stuff. I wish men were better about that. But also just like, it's amazing to me the way sometimes men, when women are like, we're emoting all over the place with our menopause because our hormones are insane. It's insane. And like, you have no idea what you're doing. And it's a new normal. And it takes and everyone who knows me has heard, like, it's a 5-year journey for me to figure out what to do and how to function in this newly very different body that I've existed in my entire life. And I don't think men have that level of struggle.
I believe it.
But I do think it also, what's not being really talked about is husbands having to deal with women who are going through it because we change a lot in those times. And like, you can go from a very nurturing personality to very much going like, I don't care what you do. I've seen that. Like, you're just like, I'm.
By the way, folks, my wife is 56. Just saying. So yeah. Love you, Cherise.
Hey, Cherise. She's going to be like, stop talking to me.
Right. She's going to cancel our podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
But I guess what we've been trying to say is that our 50s can be scary. Right? Things are changing rapidly. And for me as a man, I think the biggest thing that I'll leave with is I felt like my identity was slipping.
I think that's really important though. And we do need to be talking about that more.
Yeah.
Identity, that's key.
Yeah.
Like, that's a key thing in terms of just moving through the world. So I think that would be worthy of more discussion. Well, in the medical community and otherwise, like that's really, that would maybe explain a lot of male anger. Maybe some of these men would be a lot less mad.
Wouldn't that be great?
It would be great.
All right. So the whole time she's been looking at the camera,
it's
perfectly.
I don't.
You did.
Okay, did I?
Yes. Again, this is Kim and Early from the Root and Rhythm.
I don't even think we
podcast.
did that at the beginning. We just started talking.
No, we did.
Did we?
We did. Where we
Brain
are
fog.
exploring. Exactly. We're exploring the roots that ground us and the rhythms that move us. Can't wait to see you next time, folks.
Talk at you soon. Bye.